welcome to another video. We're gonna have this one focus on the candidate side and talk about some of the biggest mistakes I see recruiters when it comes to them interacting with candidates. So here we go, let's get started. But before we do, please feel free to support a fellow recruiter. Give us a like, subscribe, click that bell, would really mean a lot. First mistake that I see recruiters do is just not being human with the candidates. Guys, it's very easy to somehow forget the fact that we're interacting with human beings, right? This is a people-to-people business. You have to come off human, you have to empathize, you have to care, and you have to try your best to not sound like a robot, right? Like, we're here to give value, we're here to help them change their lives or their careers. We want to make sure that they're comforted, they feel safe and secure with us, and they feel that they're heard and they're listened to, and that their biggest needs and wants are addressed, or we're going to do whatever we can to find them that fantastic job that aligns perfectly. So it's very easy to come off very robotic, to brush off the candidates, to care so much on the calls. But especially if you talk to hundreds of people a month or a year, like, I totally get it, but you have to try hard because effort is noticeable. People can tell if you're BSing or you're being authentic and natural. So do your best to talk to them and really ask important questions. And most importantly, when they're responding, listen. And instead of just following like a robotic script, I promise you it will make a difference and it will really help. The second mistake that I see that recruiters do is not doing proper intake calls, right? So like, how would you be able to really help the candidate if you don't know their situation, why they're looking to leave, what they've done in their current job, what they've done in the previous jobs, why did they leave their previous job, what types of roles they're looking for into the future, are they looking for a contract role, a permanent role, like what is their citizenship status, remote, in office. If you never ask any of these things, how can you actually really help or provide value? Then you're essentially just talking to a candidate, maybe ask one or two questions here, don't even get the salary, maybe get the salary, compensation expectations, and then send them to the client and just hope, right? I think, again, with recruiting, it's a people-to-people business. They will remember how they felt when they had worked with you or when they had a conversation with you. So whether or not they get the job, you want them to be able to just walk away from your interaction with them that, like, wow, talking to Preston, talking to you was awesome. It was trustworthy, it was warm, engaging. I really felt like you listened to what I wanted, and you're gonna really do whatever you can in my own interest to get the job that aligns with all of that. You gotta do a proper intake call. You gotta dig and dive really deep and understand not only their thought process, but what exactly did they do? What were some of the biggest responsibilities and scope? What were their highest achievements? Try to understand, like, why did they leave? Or did they get laid off? Is it a personal reason? Is it justifiable reason? Or is it something happened, right? Maybe a fight with them in management. And then don't just talk about the previous or current role, talk about the role before that. You want to be able to establish a really good narrative, a story that you can convey to the hiring manager to really give them a really good understanding and context of the candidate's journey. If you just don't even have a conversation, or maybe you have like a 2-minute conversation, how are you going to really be able to present the candidate in the best light possible to what the hiring manager or what the company or the client wants in this case? As a staffing recruiter, like, I know what the company wants. Our job is to find them a candidate that matches perfectly. And to do that, not only will you have to do good intake calls for the candidate company side, but you have to do the same thing on the candidate side as well. So really understand so that you can really make that perfect Lego match 100% or as close to as much as possible so you can make both parties happy, but in this case, you can make the candidate happy. So take your time, ask questions, get into details. Some of the most common things that you can talk about is the reason for leaving, what they've done, compensation expectations, hybrid, in office, remote, are they looking for permanent or contracting or both, location, title. All of these things matter, and these are the types of things that we need to focus on when talking to candidates.
Did you just start your own recruitment agency and are struggling getting your own clients? Are you thinking about starting your own agency but afraid to make the jump? Do you have your own clients but you're struggling to find the perfect candidates fast? Do you have a full-time job and want to do recruitment part-time to make more money on the side and have no idea how to? If you answered yes to any of these questions, please consider joining our private community. It is a trust-based community where recruiters around the world can support, collaborate, and work together on placements all around the year consistently. In this community, you will directly have access to the real open jobs of my team and of our members, and you will also have the chance to access trainings, events, giveaways, and much more. If you are part of this community, I communicate and work with you as if you were on my own team, and I'll do whatever I can to do a placement together with your client or candidate. So if you're struggling to get your own clients or candidates and you want a way you can make sure you can be busy all year round by having access to many more open roles, then this is something you need to look into. This is open to people around the world and is open for recruiters in every industry and experience levels, as we will always have a good number of variety of open jobs across sectors, markets, and industries. I'm really happy to say that within the first 30 days, we have already have a new member with minimal recruiting experience do his first placement that had a total fee of almost $30,000 US, and we are working working hard to do many more this year. If you are interested and excited, there are only a limited number of spots open, so make sure you sign up quick at patreon.com/recruiterpreston. If you have any questions, please reach out to me on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Discord. We can set up a time to chat. See you on the other side.
The next thing is just not giving candidates enough process. Like, look, it's stressful enough to get and do interviews with companies, right? The worst thing is feeling like you did really well, and then finding out that the company ghosted you or passed you with no feedback. And like that would just stick with the candidate for a long time, and they need closure. So we gotta do whatever we can. I do know that being a recruiter for a long time, it's very difficult to get feedback, but we gotta do whatever we can for the candidates to get them feedback so that they can sleep well at night. You know, they can be calm and be at peace, knowing that, hey, they passed on me, I gave it my all, the feedback is valid, time to move on, and I can just continue with my life, right? Also, a lot of times when candidates are interviewing, they're interviewing with other companies. And so like they need to know exactly what's happening so they know where to focus on, and they know, hey, like, wow, things are really happening and working well here, and maybe we can focus and double down here. And then feedback just propels their excitement, especially if it's positive. But if they get rejected, they want closure, right? They want to be like, okay, I'll just no longer focus here, I'll focus here instead, but I kind of want to know why. And if I don't get feedback, it's always just going to linger in the back of their heads, and they might just, follow up or pester you as a recruiter. So again, this puts us in a challenging point. Like, we will do whatever we can to get feedback, but a lot of times it's easier said than done, but we will still do our best. That's part of our protocol, to always get feedback no matter what, good or bad. The last mistake that I see with recruiters doing in candidates is not doing process calls, right? So our job is not just to talk to the candidate and then don't talk to them and talk to them again once they get an offer. Our job is start chatting with them, develop that relationship from the first call, and then continue to follow up with them and have conversations with them throughout the interview process. The idea here is that you want to be able to develop stronger and stronger relationships with that candidate, because why? We're here to help authentically and genuinely. You want to do what you can, fight and advocate for the candidates. But most importantly, if you don't check in with them often after the second round or third round or fourth round, and you don't see how they're feeling, get a general pulse of things, or see if things have changed, maybe compensation expectations, or they're about to get another offer, another company. If you never had these conversations, how would you know if you need to accelerate, or let the client or hiring manager know that they need to accelerate things with their candidate because they're about to get another offer tomorrow, right? By you being able to directly interface with the candidates often throughout the process, they feel like they're not alone, right? On one level, they don't feel like they're alone. They feel like they're with a confidant, a friend that can really honestly go to bat for them. But most importantly, you're able to get a pulse on the candidate. And ideally, you want them to stay as interested or even more as they get deeper and deeper and deeper in process. Lastly, you're all about trying to look into the future and identify any sort of obstacles or red flags that could completely derail this candidate's candidacy for the company. And you can only do that if you actually chat with them, you ask questions, you dig deep, and you are able to really develop that rapport, that trustworthy rapport with that candidate for them to feel comfortable to open up with you. I think if you only talk to them first time and then you talk to them again when the offer comes out, you didn't really establish or create any sort of relationship there. They may not trust you, or they may not feel comfortable to fully open up with you. The more open that they are, the more that they trust you, that you are operating in their best interest, the more that they're going to share with you. And the more that they share with you, the better that you can fight for them and accelerate them, do whatever you can to get them to the final, especially if the candidate's really excited. So process call is very important, and there's so much you can do in recruiting to have control. It's so easy to just throw a resume in and just hope, but you're just leaving a lot to chance. There's so many things that we can do on the client side, the interviews and the candidates, to get that needle tipping toward our favor so we can increase the probability of a candidate saying yes, that they're going to accept the job with your client. That's the long-term goal at the end of the day. The last mistake that I see that recruiters don't do is that they're just not being honest. Look, I get it. We all want recruit candidates to take the job with our clients, but sometimes that your client is not the best fit. Sometimes it's not obvious, sometimes it's very obvious. You would not want to tell them to go the other way because you're leaving money on the table. Well, recruiting is a people business. So you gotta have a long-term perspective, and you gotta do whatever you can to develop strong relationships, because they can snowball and they can come back and help you into the future. The more that candidates know that you fought for them, even though they didn't get the job or they got rejected, they've had such a good experience with you, there's a high chance they're just gonna come back to you again into the future and wanna work with you. But if they felt like you weren't being honest, you didn't really take the time out to listen to them or to really establish relationships and rapport throughout the interview process, they might not want to work with you. They might burn bridges. They're like, you know what? I want to work with any other recruiter except you. So it's really important to be honest. And there were a handful of times where I told them, hey, this job with my hiring manager, no matter how much I want you to take this job, it's probably not the best fit for you, because I know that you're looking for X, Y, and Z. And even though my client offers all these things, they're not going to be able to do that. You're leaving money off the table, but you're also kind of mitigating situations in the future where your candidate joins and maybe it's just a horrible fit, and within 30 days they leave and you have to find a replacement anyway. Might as well try to find the right candidate for the right job, for the right client. Be efficient. Don't waste people's times and operate with integrity and honesty as much as we can. It's really, really important to be honest with the candidates and to be honest with companies and clients. Honest in every facet of your life, because it will compound and it will give you gifts and rewards and opportunities into the future you're not really thinking about now. If you're only thinking about quick wins, shortcuts, I want money now, do whatever it takes, good or bad, then you're only operating with the short-term perspectives and you could be burning bridges and doing things unprofessionally or unethically, right? So have a long-term perspective. You're building a business or having a career that's here to stay. Let's do things right, develop relationships, and I hope that a lot of these points can help you. So if you enjoyed this video, please give us a subscribe, like, hit that bell, really mean a lot. Feel free to support us, copying some recruiter merch for you, a lot of new exciting designs coming into the future. If you're proud and you want to attract candidates and clients into your life, awesome, fashionable, comfortable, and showing the world that you are proud to be a recruiter like I am in an industry that's honestly changed my life. So thank you so much again. Hope this helps. Let me know which of the advice that you like the most. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you on the next one.